International Tribunal finds U.S. guilty of crimes against humanity. The International Tribunal on Human Rights Abuses against was held October 23rd through the 25th at Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz Memorial and Educational Center in Washington Heights. A 1951 petition to the United Nations signed by dozens of notable, including Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, Claudia Jones, Harry Haywood, and Paul Robeson. The 2021 indictment is against represented by its president, Department of State, federal and state policing agencies, and other governmental institutions. The panel of jurists heard testimony emphasizing the millions upon millions of indigenous and African peoples murdered, disappeared, and nearly exterminated over a period from 1492 through the present. Further, the witnesses and prosecution argued that the wrongs have been historic and deliberate, with colonization, racism, militarism, imperialism, materialism, criminalization, patriarchy, neo-colonialism, and internal colonialism as part of the larger process that now manifests itself in medical and digital apartheid, chemical warfare, environmental violence, and racism, disinvestment, and a pandemic of accessible guns and drugs, with the majority of gun violence perpetuated by police and security forces in false claim of upholding law and order. In preliminary presentation of the testimony, police killings, mass incarceration, political prisoners, prisoners of war, environmental racism. Before I leave, I would like you all to hear from a secular source.
October 23rd, 2021, in New York City, within a United Nations building, an international tribunal of more than 30 delegates with more than over 100 witnesses who gave testimony over the course of 2.5 days, convicted and found the United States government guilty of 5 counts of genocide against Black, brown, and indigenous people. As I said, on the 23rd, it was officially announced that the International Tribunal, which had been set up, had found the United States guilty on all counts. So what does this mean? Because we know that normally these things don't do anything, right? The United Nations doesn't do anything ever. They're right now spending more time trying to petition and ask Israel to stop bombing the shit out of the Palestinians and to stop oppressing them. And I mean, that's really the modus operandi that they're going with. So we know that the UN is not very likely to take action against this. And we know that the US government isn't very likely to take action against this. This is a moment for organizing, because what these folks understand is that when this guilty verdict was come to, is no longer deniable. So when the United States goes on denying, this will be a slap across the face to those who finally have seen it written in, the correct ink by the correct people at the UN that, boom, the US is guilty of genocide. They're not going to do anything, and what Jalil Muttaqim wants to do is organize what he's calling a People's Senate to try to actually take action against the US government that we know the ruling class has no interest in taking against itself. It's something to be celebrated and something to be shared.
For further information on the judgment or the verdict, please see the comment section below, copy link, and read.